Hey there, and welcome to the Fiihr Factor, the podcast that shines a light on real stories, smart strategies, and the occasional hard truth about running a business. Think of this as your quick dose of clarity before your first cup of coffee. Let's go. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Rachid Barry. How are you doing?
Hey Warren, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Good. This is a great podcast because we met each other at a networking event and had a couple of cocktails and we had a lot of laughs. And
That's right. We
thank
did
you for
have a lot
taking
of
the
fun
time.
together, and I was really happy to meet you that time.
It's a blast. So thank you for taking the time. Can you just give me a little background on you and where you came from? Because you have such an interesting story.
Yes, Sean, thank you for that. Actually, I grew up in Burkina Faso. It's a landlocked country in the middle of West Africa.
Oh, everybody knows where that is. I'm
Yes,
kidding.
I know. There's been a lot of social media attraction in that country lately. So my original language is French. So I moved down here in the state a little over 15 years ago. And I went to Kent State University, then moved to Houston, Texas. Went in Houston, Texas, University of Houston downtown. Did my bachelor in finance, did an MBA, and then I'm finishing right now a doctorate at Liberty University. So that's my academic pathway. On the other hand, I do have a tax firm that actually started like 11 years ago that is focused on reducing taxes and building wealth for high net worth individuals and business owners. So my job is pretty simple. It's helping people pay the least amount of money in taxes legally, not a penny more than what they're supposed to pay, so they can use the extra cash that we are saving them so they can build wealth for themselves and their family.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I don't mind paying my share of taxes, but I don't want to pay a dollar more. So
Absolutely, that's the goal. That's the goal. So yeah, that's my work side. And beside, I'm very involved in the African community. I used to be honorary consul of Burkina Faso in Houston, Texas, so representing the whole country in the state of Texas, where I had the chance of working with local government and working with federal government also, try to strengthen the relationship in terms of economic and development within between Africa and the U.S. per se.
yes, that's awesome. We discussed this. I had a couple clients that actually are in Africa, weirdly, or have done business in Africa, and I hear about it being such a country, fastest growth, most opportunity. What's your kind of point of view on that? All that.
Oh yes, Africa right now is really booming. If you look at the economy right now in Africa, you got a GDP of about $10 trillion and expected to double in the next 10 years. So if you're looking at the next 10 years, Africa is going to go more than $20 trillion in terms of GDP, which shows that there is going to be a lot of track record of growth that is coming up. And when you look at it, that Africa has right now the youngest population on earth, 1.4 billion people, which shows that there's a lot of opportunity there in terms of infrastructure, in terms of energy, in terms of economic building firms and things of that nature. So definitely there is a lot of growth that is happening in Africa. I know that most people in the Western country don't really, when they hear Africa, they see risk and complexity and ability.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a lot of countries in Africa right now that have strong institutions, they have predictable growth, and there is a lot of good things happening there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you get from your country to the US to make all this happen? What's that journey like? For most of us, like I've lived all over the country, but
Yeah.
I haven't lived outside the country. How's that adventure go for somebody?
The adventure is first it started that me wanted to further my education, and that's how everything started. When I graduated high school, I went to a different country in Africa, in Ghana, which is where I actually learned to speak English at some capacity. And then from there, I decided that I wanted more for my education. I wanted more opportunities for myself. So I decided to move in the US to pursue my education. So this is how everything started. So I got here as a student, went to college, earned my degrees, and I was like, okay, what else can I brought in here? And US is a country of immigrants, so everybody has a place here. As long as you're bringing a value to the country, you do have a place here in America. So I was like, let me stay here and bring up some more opportunities that I can bring and also just contribute to the country.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. And then how'd you end up starting your firm? Tell me about that journey.
Yeah, so I've always been passionate with finance. Finance has always been something that I'm really passionate about. So I remember back by maybe 15 years ago, I had a friend of mine that actually was preparing taxes. And I started learning about taxes and how the tax system work in the US. How do people pay the taxes so you can fund government and government can actually start projects and do a lot of things within the country. I was like, oh wow, this is interesting field for me. So I actually started talking to my friend and learning more about taxes. And then I went ahead and did a certification in tax preparation. And from there, I was like, okay, tax preparation was just like a stepping stone. But there is more to learn. When I started learning about bookkeeping and started learning about tax strategies, started learning about how to acquire capital and how to help business owners have access to capital so they can grow. Because one of the things that I've seen that working with a lot of business owners, sometimes they have good ideas, sometimes they do start a firm or they do start a business, but they lack capital sometimes. So I started getting
Yes.
myself involved in all of that. Then I started working with high net worth individuals. And they worry now is no longer about filing taxes, but actually accessing strategies that can help them mitigate the tax bill. But legally, bringing strategies because a lot of people do think about taxes when it's only in tax season, like January to April. But that's what I say. That's the wrong time of doing taxes or the wrong time of actually thinking about your taxes because there's a lot of strategies out there that you can use that can potentially mitigate your tax bill. And those strategies been put in place by law and the law voted by Congress. So it's actually that, and I tell people that, do you know that the US government wants you to pay less taxes? And people are like, whoa, really? How would that happen? I'm like, yes, there is laws in place. If they don't want you to pay less taxes, there wouldn't be those laws. There wouldn't be those incentive to actually show you the pathway of actually that you can mitigate your tax bill. Then I start educating people, then helping them. And yeah, this is a little bit of my journey in my firm. Been having my firm for the past 11 years. I have about close to 20 employees right now. So trying to bring value to people. That's all about it.
That's right. It's all about helping people. And a couple things I'll just add on there. I think I've seen this so many times, and I tell business owners, you mentioned access to capital. So just taking that first, you have to get access to capital before you need capital, because when you need it, you can't get access to it.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with you, Warren, on that because, and I tell business owners that you need to look for capital when actually you don't need it. You go out here and you get access to capital. So when the opportunity shows up, then you don't have to actually go through all the underwriting process, all of that. And by the time you finish that, maybe the opportunity is gone.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, or you just can't go. You get stuck, right? You
Yep.
get stuck and you can't scale. So,
Absolutely.
and then you're thinking about, I like what you said about how the government doesn't want us to pay more taxes. Yeah, that'll catch people's attention. I like that a lot. Yeah, they put the laws in place. Use them as
I
much as
know.
you can.
It's like a lot of time I do a lot of speaking engagement and keynote and trainings. So when I get it, I usually ask people that who here actually feel like they're paying a lot of money in taxes. And most people will raise their hands, say, yeah, me here, me here. I'm like, okay, so do you feel like the government is actually taxing you guys more? Like they're actually making you guys pay a lot of taxes? They're like, yes, I don't like it. I'm like, maybe 25% effective tax rate or 30% tax rate, or I'm a 37 tax bracket. I'm like, okay, but do you know that they want you to pay less taxes? Wait a minute, why? I say, yes, they want you to pay less taxes. How come? I'm like, yeah, there is strategies. What kind of strategies have you been doing? Or how many times do you talk to your accountant? They're like, oh, I just talk to him once a year. Oh, I just talk to him in tax. Yeah, that's the reason. If you only talk to him once a year, how can you discover strategies that can mitigate your tax bill? You think about it, if you're taking about 30% of your income that is going to taxes, it means 1/4 of the year you're just working to pay taxes. So how hard is that? When
It's
you
so
get that?
true.
Yeah. So it means like if you have a W-2, you're a W-2 earner. So it means, well, maybe if you're a business owner, you wake up every day from 9 to 5 for the next 3 months just to pay taxes. Wow.
That's
So
really depressing.
I know. So what about we change the script? What about we change the structure? What about we change some stuff? So then you see that your tax bracket can drop. And this is all legal. Now you have extra cash that you can invest into your business. You can scale, you can hire operation, you can hire marketing, you can do a lot of stuff. Now you have extra cash that you can fund your kid college education. Now you have extra
Yes.
cash that you can take your wife to the Bahamas or take your husband somewhere else or maybe buy him his dream car. Now you have access to capital that you can buy your property or do your next investment or actually even start a business. But until you structure some stuff, you're not going to have that extra capital that you can actually help you build the wealth and build the dream of the successful life that you actually want.
So true. So you got this and you started doing these strategies, and then how do you get to a 20-person firm? And tell me some of the struggles and learnings along the way.
Well, the struggle is hard. The struggle is hard. And getting there, it's when it's trying to grow a firm is like you are stretching yourself because one thing that I've learned that the ideas and the action that you actually use before to start building your business, at some point those ideas is going to be the wrong thing that will actually stop you from growing.
Yes, amen. Talk about that. I love.
When you start your business, what do? You usually have clients that they have your cell phone number. You're always available. You are the one running marketing. You are the one doing operations. You are the one doing fulfillment. You are actually the one doing everything by yourself. And then you have clients that have access to your phone number. You respond to all emails. You possibly don't even have weekends. But that you can do that until at some capacity.
Yes.
At some capacity. So once you start getting, when you start, oh, I'm having enough clients. Now I'm having the type of client that I really want to work with. Then you can be available and doing all of that. Then you need to start delegating. You have to delegate. If you delegate, you elevate. You delegate, you elevate. So when you start getting to that, it's that level, then you start hiring somebody that you need an assistant, then you need marketing, then you need somebody to do sales, then you need somebody to do fulfillment, then you need somebody to maybe run operation. So then you can actually work on your business, but not in the business. So this is how you start scaling, but it's a step-by-step process. And at the same time, also, you need to have access to capital, because once you start doing hiring, you might not have enough capital to be able to hire operation and all of those departments that I talked about. So you have to have access to capital.
Yeah.
You can grow it.
And it's interesting because you got to taking that first step of hiring your first or maybe your second person. Maybe you hired an assistant to do some stuff or a VA or something.
Yep.
But taking that first step and hiring a full-time person to do whatever it is, if it's sales or if it's, or operations or whatever, there's a period of time where you're just not going to have as much net profit.
That's right? Absolutely. There's
it's hiring. Then you got to hire. You got not only you got to project for that. You got to have capital, and then you got to actually hire the right person. I see a lot of business owners fall down there.
Tell me more. Tell me more. It's funny that now that when I look at my journey, at first when you start your business, and like I was saying, that you do all of those stuff by yourself. Then when you start hiring, sometimes at the beginning, you can't hire the skills that is actually in the person that you're really looking for. So sometimes you hire for attitude. Oh, this person has a good attitude. Maybe I'll train them. That's the beginning, because you don't have enough capital to hire the right person that has the right skills that you're looking for. So you hire for attitude. You hire for somebody. Oh, this person is ready to learn. You do all of that. But at some point, if you still want to grow your business, you need to hire for the right skill. That requires a lot more capital. You have to write for the skill. So you're no longer looking for attitude, because you are looking for people that can take action, solve problems, so that can actually dissect your business. Say, in my business, if you come in, what can you fix in there? What did you do previously? So those are things I learned the hard way.
Getting those specific questions and figuring out, because I agree. I like attitude. Attitude is important, and I can train. I've hired, I don't even know how many people I've hired. 1,000. I don't know in my life. I can't really count, but it's like, I really feel like you've got to look for talent. So I can teach if you're smart and you got the right attitude and you got game. Then we can grow you. And I'll take that person over somebody that's done the same thing wrong for 20 years. And because that person is also expensive.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Then if you can pay, I guess the other thing I would say is, if you can pay, you don't get the cheapest. Don't try to go cheap. Like, you invest some money, pay the right wage for the right person, make sure they're the right person, and then bring them on, and then start giving them responsibilities. And I'll use my example. Because I think it's a good one. I've always told people that one good person is worth 3 bad people, or 3 even okay people. You do? Okay. Yeah.
So I agree 100%. It's, if you have C players in your team because you want to be cheap, you want to go cheap. Yeah. You have more staff, but you're actually not having productivity. But you have an A player that in your team that actually can solve problems, can bring new ideas, can innovate, can just have the same vision like you. You'll grow faster.
Yes, 100%. Because these other people, you got to jack around and manage them all the time.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to do. Yep. They don't have the right attitude. They need help. Their work is not as great, and they're not as fast generally either.
Yeah. One of my mentors actually taught me some stuff. Is like, when you always hiring, you always have A, B, and C players. The A players, they know what to do, and you tell them the problem, they'll go and solve it. The B players, they're like, okay, they still need some type of direction. You need to tell them exactly, hey, do it this way. You don't have to do this mistake again. The C players, like, what the hell is going on here? They don't even know what's going on here in your business. So if you hire the C players, then you're gonna be stuck, and it's gonna cost you.
You are. Yeah, and so then how do you Tell me how you have managed this, because the thing is, okay, you got 20. So when you have 20, you're not managing 20 people.
Absolutely not. I cannot. It's hard. You're gonna have to delegate. You have some supervisors that actually know the direction. They know what to do, and so you manage the supervisors. They manage the team. You manage the managers. They manage the team. But the vision has to be one same vision. What are we trying to achieve? And then they need to buy into the idea. They need to buy into the vision. So once you're able to do that, then yes, you can manage. And one of the things that I also learn a lot in business is like personal development is extremely important. Not only that, as the business owner, you want to train yourself, you want to do a lot of training, but you also have to train your team. Because if you're training yourself and then your team is not getting trained, you guys are not going to get on the same page. And it's going to hurt the business.
Well, I think the delegation thing is everybody says just delegate stuff. That sounds great in theory, but how do you get comfortable enough with your people? Delegate. And then I guess I go back to what you said earlier, which is brilliant, which is, okay, what got me to $1 million is not going to get me to 10 million. I got to do things differently.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so I can't make all the decisions. I have to trust my people, trust but verify, and I've got to train them, and I got to have the right people.
Yep.
How did you make that transition?
Yeah, making the transition to be able to, it's really tough. I got to be honest with you, Warren. It's really tough because you feel like if it's not done the certain way of my way, then it's not the right way. But at some point, you need to understand that you're not going to have anybody that will do things at 100% as you. Just try to shoot for 80%. If they can do it 80% like you, then that's fine. You just free up 80% of your time. So then you can take that 20% and focus yourself into doing something else. Yeah. So this is how my managers, they do make some mistakes. They do, but actually my focus is like, as long as they're making more better decision and actually training the team, making sure that we actually bring value to our client, it's better. We keep on training. So they're going to be better at some point. So you just have to keep on reinvesting into training. Training is like one of my biggest like investment into my firm, because I feel like
I like it.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, I like training.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you good? Hey, yeah, I'm good on that. Yeah.
We're so excited.
Excited.
I like training a lot. I like what you said about having a vision that people buy into, so then they should be able to make similar decisions to you. But the only thing I'll say about training is when you're in, and this is in a lot of bigger companies, people are like, well, the staff just needs more training. If the training didn't take the first or the second time, then it's not a training problem. It's another problem.
It's another
right?
Problem. Yeah, that's right. That's true. I totally agree with you. Yeah, training is one thing, but you gotta dissect other stuff, making sure that things are working properly in the right direction.
Yes, 100%. So you got this all figured out now at 20. Now you're going to double to 30 or 40 people. What's your dream?
Can I tell you my dream? If you want to hear it.
Yeah.
8,000 people.
Okay, I like it.
Yes, I would say there's no limit. For me, it's all about when I look at the market, like the tax industry that you look at it, research shows that about 90% of business owners are overpaying in taxes. 90%. And when I look at on the W-2 side of it, people making $300, $400, or $500,000. And when I talk to them, sometimes they feel like they're stuck. They don't know that there's tax strategies for W-2 earners. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to be a business owner. There's tax strategies that you can use. There's a lot of incentive. There is a lot of investment opportunity. There is a lot of tax reduction, investment. There's so much that you can do. So when I look at on W-2 side also, there is more to do, because if you're not paying taxes, as long as you're doing something else to grow the economy, it's still better for the country.
That is a really excellent point, because let's face it, the government doesn't always spend the money the best way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We might be able to figure out a smarter investment. And our thing is world abundance through business re-education, with the idea being, if we can make more money in our businesses and have them more successful, we can grow our communities by actually reinvesting in them.
Absolutely.
And charities and hiring more people.
Yes.
And those are real things. It's not about being greedy.
Yeah, but it's and I go on the same token like you, as you explain it right now. If you can invest back into the community, it's like if you're investing back to the community, you are growing the economy. If you are buying the next property, on the next property that actually will hire more people, you are growing the economy. So you are still supporting the government, even though you are not sending them the check, but you're still investing back to the country. So, and I tell people that, hey, there's just one thing that I always teach. Tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. Well,
Yeah, two sets of books isn't okay. One
yes,
set of books in compliance with the law, right? Driving right over to the edge, but not jumping over the edge is perfectly
absolutely.
legal.
Yes, yes. So if you're doing tax avoiding, you are investing back the money in the money or the saving back into the country by growing the economy, by investing, by doing that. You are still actually participating, and that's what the government wants. This is why the laws exist.
Yes, yes, because there are those countries out there that have such a high tax rate that people just they work hard to not pay it at all.
Yep.
At least with ours, we've got strategies to help give you a shot.
Oh
You know,
yes.
by and those also, by the way, are supposed to help you incentive. Take the what is it, over 5 or 6 thousand pound gross vehicle weight.
Yep.
That's to get people to buy more vehicles. It is incentivizing you to do something that the government feels is supporting the economy.
Yeah, if you buy the vehicle that is over 6,000 pounds, then you can write off the whole thing. If it's for business use, then they give you bonus depreciation and all of that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so if you are buying more cars, what is it? So the car industry is actually growing. So you have more people that are working. So it's still growing the economy. Same thing if you are investing into real estate, and then we can do a cost seg study on your property. You're actually taking a depreciation, but guess what? You are buying more property. You are actually there's
Yes,
more people that's going to rent those properties. So you're still contributing to the economy.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing. If you could fix one thing in your business right now, what would that be?
Process, process and system. If I can feel it's because I feel like process and system is always something that you gotta keep. It's like is it ideal? You gotta keep working on it. So if right now it's like, how is my process? Is my process as effective and efficient as I want it? So I'm always thinking about what can I do to make sure that when a client comes in from onboarding, from actually I won't even say from being a lead, from a lead
Yes,
being to the sale process, from the sale process to the onboarding process, from onboarding process to fulfillment, and for fulfillment to actually closing the case. How can I systematize it that it's easier and the customer journey is actually, oh wow, I love this firm. I like it because they're taking care of me. They promise everything that they say they were gonna do, and they went above and beyond. And I always
yes,
like to, I want to be like, we under promise and over deliver. So this is really where I'm actually thinking of my firm being at the top. I'm not saying that the customer journey right now is bad, but we can still make it better.
no,
We
no,
can still make it better. We can still, I'm always envisioning like, what is the perfect way of doing this?
yes, yeah. And I love it because there's a time savings, there's a customer experience there, and like in just thinking about the lead to turning them into an actual client, if you can increase that percentage 3 or 4 or 5 points, all of a sudden your cost per lead and your cost per client went way down. You're bringing more revenue in, your marketing's working better, so all of those things. And I think here's my ideal because I have a CPA firm I work with. I think they're great folks. The client should never have to call and say, "Hey, what's going on with my taxes?" Like,
I
let's start
agree
with that, right?
100%. Yep. So if they are calling in, that's mean yeah, there's something wrong going on.
Yes. Then we didn't do a good job communicating. Okay. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to ask you 3 very serious questions. Are you ready?
Yep.
If you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be? I like it.
A
A
lion.
lion.
Yep. So I
Yeah.
can roar. A lion. I want to be a lion is the king of the jungle.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah, a
Or
lion.
maybe the lioness is the queen of the jungle, but something like that, right?
You're actually right. I never thought about that. Females are always there somewhere.
All right. Second question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Someone that actually contributed to making the world a better and safer place.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And last, most important question. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Wow. What I want to be when I grow up. That's a serious question. I feel like being somebody that actually can carve the name into history for doing something that actually advanced the world. And when I say advancing the world, is like this guy actually, yes, he was a businessman. Yes, he built up a lot of team and built up, but he actually did something to that people can actually remember. Wow, this guy did care about people. He did care about actually the world being a much more safer and better place. He contributed, invested back to the community. He did have an impact on people, being
Oh,
impactful to people.
I love it, Rachid. That's wonderful, and thank you for sharing that. Thinking about it, and thank you for sharing that, Mr. Lyon. Uh,
Thank you, Warren. But let me ask you this: what about you? I know I'm here being interviewed, but what about you? What kind of animal?
oh, I gotta tell you, I really like sea turtles.
Sea
I
turtle.
like their
Oh,
attitude. They have a lot of range. They seem chill. They are in the ocean. I like the sea turtles.
interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know it's not a lion, but you can't get me because I'm in the water. I'm not prey to you either. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't get to you. That's definitely
oh,
true. That's
oh my
definitely true.
gosh. So, company is RMJ Consultant US,
That's
and
correct.
so if you need your tax strategy, Rachid, obviously you're the man. And I know you're getting your doctorate, and you got a whole bunch of other things that we didn't talk about today that are in development. And I can't wait to see what you do and continue to do because I know your dream of impacting the world and making a positive difference is already happening.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. Just gonna keep on doing it, making sure that we make it happen.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Warren. I really appreciate being here, and thank you for everything that you do and bringing value to around the people that are following you on your podcast. I appreciate that.
Cheers. What I liked about Rachid, what I really liked about what he said for business owners is number one, you got to keep delegating as you grow, and you got to have capital to grow. So you got to plan ahead for those things, and then also the idea of systems and processes for the customer experience, for a conversion of clients, and just to get more efficient and save more time and make more profit. So great guy. He's doing great things in the world already. You're gonna see this guy around.
Keeping more capital gives your business more options, but only if you know where to use it. Visit warrenfear.com to take the free business assessment or schedule your 2 weeks of free coaching.